This week on the Critical Breakdown. Here's a hot take from the Critical Breakdown from Max and me. There isn't a single good movie about sports. Boom.
Are you serious?
There isn't a single good movie about sports.
I can't argue with him. Hello and welcome to the Critical Breakdown, the podcast where we start at the bottom of Rotten Tomatoes and work our way to 100% fresh. I'm Max.
And I'm Scott. Today we're talking The Fighter, rated 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wait a second. We already talked about a 90%er.
Yes, we did. But that was my 90% film, Blade Runner.
Oh, Blade Runner's good.
It's a good movie.
Directed by Ridley Scott.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not this.
You know what else is a good movie?
The Fighter.
The Fighter.
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't been following along too closely, me and Max and you guys, we're all picking 90%ers. And we're going to do that. And you know what? We're going to reveal that winner on this episode.
In just a few moments.
Yeah. And people probably know if you already checked the Facebook.
Yeah, if you've been following us on social, you guys have been participating. So
nice.
Yeah, real nice.
Nice.
But before we get there, let's... what you been watching, Scott?
Well, I watched one of your favorite movies, actually. I rewatched. Ooh. Yeah. I finally was able to find a place to rent Avengers Age of Ultron.
Oh, where'd you rent it from?
Amazon. I don't know how I missed it before. Yeah. But like before I checked and I couldn't rent it. Yeah. But then I could, so I rented it. It's not any better than I remembered. Yeah. Maybe time made me think harsher of it because it is in the end still just like a pretty innocuous Avengers film, but it doesn't like successfully raise the stakes and there's no real memorable moments. Actually, the most memorable moment to me is like the 20 minutes right in the middle where they're at Hawkeye's house. Yeah,
I was going to say, I remember a lot of interpersonal stuff on the first half of the film, like feeling good, like liking that. Yeah. And then
like the party scene.
Yeah, the party scene was cool. Them like bonding was really good, I remember.
Yeah, for sure. And
then just the third act of that movie just kills me.
It's all very scattershot. Like they're going to that weird place in Africa. I forgot that Claw was in Age of Ultron. Yep. Andy Serkis. Yeah. I totally forgot about that whole sequence. But it's all
about vibranium in that scene, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, do they?
It's either that one or...
Yeah. No, it is because what's his nuts is made of vibranium. Ultron.
Yeah. Yeah. The shield. Yeah. What's his nuts, and then a lot of other stuff. Yeah.
That's a good description. Of vibranium, but no, I mean, I kind of wanted to watch it to settle my thoughts on it, and it's fine. You know, the thing that the Avengers movies and watching this one, it's just fresh in my memory, does better than Justice League is that character building. Like it takes like 30 minutes of the movie are devoted to just character moments and relationships, and Justice League never took that breath to do that, which is also crazy because like barely anything happens in Justice League. Yeah. So and it's like they both didn't develop the characters and didn't have a good plot.
They were trying to really focus on that Lois Clark thing, but they bring it out at the last second. Like that was their character moments for him. Yeah. And that was stupid. Just because it was like, bring out the big gun. But the the character, like we said, the Flash kind of worked the best in that film for both of us. And you see his active like interpersonal relationships with each person he meets as well as his dad. And those parts I thought were cool.
For sure.
And the rest of it was just kind of garbage.
Yeah. But that's not why I brought up Ultron. But,
I mean,
any shot I can take at Justice League, I'll take. It's
I do want to...
$300 million was the budget for Justice League. Can you believe that?
Man, 280 of that was fixing that mustache. Or it should have been.
Did you notice it when you watched?
Yeah, but I knew about it going in.
I did too, and I was looking for it, and I couldn't really tell. So okay.
I could tell, man. I mean, his face, it looks unnatural at certain times, and his lips like not moving, and it's weird.
I would say maybe I'll watch it again to find, but I won't.
If you just Google it, you'll see a picture of it where he looks like a weird Photoshop.
Yeah, but
I mean, whatever.
Whatever, man.
Facial hair CGI should be much better than that. That's the thing. Both tricky giving and removing. It is tricky.
Every upper lip is a little different.
And the face is like a focus, So I get that.
Yeah. And the mouth especially.
With Age of Ultron, how did the fights towards the third act hold up for you?
Nothing special, but they were fine.
Yeah.
every one of these like group superhero movies has the moment where everybody's in one place.
Yeah.
So this one, it's like they're defending the not drill, but like the jetpack or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're all there and the sweeping camera shots. I mean, it's not even that cool, but it's just like every one movie needs. Like I remember when we talked about Civil War in our summer movie preview ahead of Civil War, we were talking about how stupid it was that both sides would literally just run at each other like that, and they just have to have that one scene like that. But I mean, there's nothing special about it, honestly.
I do
nothing
remember
memorable.
In the first Avengers movie, Avengers, that the sweeping shot was like really fucking cool.
Yeah, it was like
it's where
on the street in New York.
At the end of it, it's on the street. It's not just two people running at each other.
For sure.
So that's what I think bothers me with all those other versions of it, because that one was like the only time I've ever seen it done well.
Well, the Age of Ultron one's very similar. It's not like Ultron's zooming at the whole group of them. They're like surrounding a thing. You'll get the moment where like Thor hits one of them with like Mjolnir, and then Hawkeye shoots it or something like that. And
I think it was just too video game cutscene for me in that version.
Yeah, I mean they all kind of are.
Well, yeah.
Like it could be like a quick time event, like press X now.
The Avengers, there's just, I think since they did it first and did it well, that's why it like still rings true.
Elizabeth Olsen's accent is just garbo.
Didn't they just drop it?
She doesn't have an accent anymore.
Yeah, I like Elizabeth Olsen. So.
I like her, but in this movie, when she's using her Sokovian accent, it's not working.
I just pretend Sokovia. I just pretend it doesn't exist.
Well, most people do. That's Sokovia's problem, you know.
It's
former Soviet bloc.
It's like a non-entity.
Come on, man. Everyone talks about Poland. We talk about Sokovia.
I feel they should have used a real country, but I guess they want to just destroy it. So I get why they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. You know. Yeah. I mean, you could say the same about like Wakanda and all that.
Yeah, but
there's
Wakanda's
more like
cool
lore to Wakanda. Yeah. That's true. Sokovia at least had a nice little payoff in Civil War with Daniel Bruhl's character.
That's true.
What I already forgot. What's the
Zemo?
Baron I was going to say Helmet.
Baron Helmet.
No, like Helmet Zemo.
Helmet Zemo. Shit. If that's not his name,
shit.
It might be. Baron might be a title.
He could be Baron Helmet Zemo.
That might actually be it.
I'm pretty sure it's not. We'll look it up another time or not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
New Girl's final season started this past week.
You start watching it?
Yeah. I mean, it started literally this week.
Oh, okay. I want to get caught up.
I'm bittersweet about it, but
I'm on like season 3 maybe.
Yeah, I mean it's all on Netflix. Yeah, so it's just such a harmless show, and it's very funny. Yeah, so I'm gonna miss it.
It's like Friends in that sense, I think, where it's just good sitcom and
yeah, for sure. And the episode was fine. I mean, it was the one problem they have, I guess, would be that they haven't really changed the formula at all. Yeah, and final season, it's only gonna be like 8 total episodes just to finish it out and.
That's cool.
They did like the Parks and Recreation thing where there's a time jump. I think 3 years have gone by.
That's interesting. I might power through a bunch of it now. I need a sitcom.
The nice thing about it is like while you're doing anything else, just you can have it on the bed. Like so I've been watching through all the old episodes again, and I mean it's very harmless. So
I love Schmidt.
Yeah. Schmidt.
He's good.
I mean, they're
all good.
The funny thing to me is all of the non-Zooey Deschanel characters are much more interesting, funny, and developed than she is.
Yeah.
So the strongest point of the show was when Zoe couldn't be on the show, I believe, because she had a child. Mm-hmm. So they had her in a sequestered jury for like 5 episodes, and Megan Fox was on playing their like sublet roommate, and it was hilarious. Those 4 or 5 episodes. So, but no, it's good. It's good stuff, man.
It's good. Maybe I'll get caught up and we can discuss further.
Could have a rap sesh.
Yeah, a little rap sesh on New Girl. I'm down. I'm down.
What have you been watching?
Well, I wanted to wait and see if you had anything extra because I had an Elizabeth Olsen picture to mention, and I was gonna transition earlier, but it didn't feel right.
I think it would have been fine.
But I didn't want to cut. I didn't want to cut off Scott midstream. I'm doing Italian hands for some reason.
I know you are. I know you are.
But
you could, because I could try and find a place to play back. You know, it could go.
That's true.
We go point, counterpoint, point, counterpoint. You know,
it's too late now. But.
No. Let's do it again. Hang on. Elizabeth Olsen, the effects on Elizabeth Olsen's character in Age of Ultron are really cool.
Yeah, speaking of Elizabeth Olsen's effects, I watched Ingrid Goes West.
Oh, cool.
And
how was it?
It was actually pretty funny. I enjoyed it. I wasn't crazy about the very end plot point with it, kind of the solution to the film. I get it, and it kind of works, but I felt they could have approached that part differently.
Okay.
But it's a really funny comedy. It's a dark comedy.
It's her and Aubrey Plaza.
And then I believe Ice Cube's son might be.
Oh, who played him in Straight Outta Compton, right? I forget that.
Because I forgot to double check it, but the dude looks 98.8% like Ice Cube. So
I can't remember his name either, but he's been in a few things here lately.
He was really funny in it.
That's good. What's like the plot synopsis of
the plot synopsis? Basically, is this girl Ingrid is overly obsessed and obsessive over people, and after her mom dies, she basically moves across the country, moves to the West Coast to kind of Instagram stalk this one girl, and starts her own Instagram where she kind of like copies what she's doing and ends up becoming friends with her. And so it's just kind of like a dark comedy looking at social media addiction, that kind of stuff, obsession, friendship, and also like people being superficial and authentic at the same time. What's real, what's not. And it's funny, man. I mean, I laughed a lot at it, and some of it kind of hit too close to home sometimes. Okay. Just, I think anyone in our generation who uses social media will be like, yeah, okay. Like, the movie begins with her upset because she wasn't invited to what you think is her best friend's wedding. She's, like, crying, like, angry, and then she shows up and maces this girl at her wedding. Like, this is literally the first minute. Because she wasn't invited, and then later you find out like she's not friends with her, she's just been obsessed with her for a long time. So it's like she's that level. It gets to really let Aubrey Plaza cut loose on her weird factor, which is always fun.
Every role she picks,
she does that.
She really catches it.
Yeah. So and it's smart on her part to do that, to do the weird factor, because she does it well, pays the bills, and she's good at it. So
cool. Is it streaming anywhere?
Yeah, it's on Hulu right now.
Oh, nice.
It's on Hulu, and it took a second to find it if you just search it. But I was like scrolling through, and it wasn't in like the top 20 movies on there.
Yeah, Hulu's like browse.
Her interface is strange. Yeah. But I definitely recommend it if you're looking for just a fun comedy to watch. Elizabeth Olsen's really good in it. She plays like vapid Instagrammer very well, and you can tell that she's like really, I don't know if you do your research on that, but everything she says is just like it's well written and well acted. Cool. So it's fun.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that was good. One.
Anything else?
I finished Wild Wild Country.
Okay.
I know I may have briefly mentioned that on another episode.
Yep. You did.
Super good, super worth watching.
Yeah.
I won't go into it too much till you watch it.
Okay.
But I do like cult stuff, so I'm always looking for cults.
For sure.
That sounds weird, but and
always
then
looking for cults.
I don't know if I mentioned the two films I revisited recently.
Why don't you mention them, and I'll see if I remember.
Much like you, I did dip back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and rewatched Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
And I liked it, honestly, probably even more the second time around.
Really?
I think when I first saw it a couple of weeks after it came out, so I heard everyone's like good, like go see it reviews, kind of where it's like, you know, it's the best Thor for sure. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to think going in the first time, and I ended up enjoying it. But this time I just got to kind of sit back and relax and enjoy what was going on. You know, like not even worry about it. And it was a good time, man. I mean, it's funny. It's just as funny as it is.
I mean, Taika Waititi does good stuff.
And I was happy that it held up being funny, because sometimes these movies don't hold up a second time being funny.
I mean, it's not that old anyways, so...
Yeah, but I mean, also, like, revisiting something this close can also be like, okay, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Because I did also revisit Atomic Blonde, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as, like, as high-octane fun as I remembered when I saw it in theaters, so...
Was part of that, like, a... not surprise factor, but just like not knowing exactly what you were getting into when you saw it in theaters?
Yeah, the twists and turns work better for sure in that one when you first watch it.
Yeah.
Even though it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
It's better, I think, to be confused but trying to figure out what's happening than to be like, okay, yeah. But the fights were still awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason the movie gets made,
and,
right?
James McAvoy, too. I will say James McAvoy is a delight in that film.
That's a Academy Award winner. Or nominee? Sorry, he didn't win.
Sorry, James. Maybe next time. I would say if you ever watch Atomic Blonde, besides like all, you know, the hot ladies in there, you would definitely love James McAvoy.
Have you seen John Wick?
No, I keep meaning to. I think that one maybe has not hit full free streaming yet, and I should just rent it.
Is Atomic Blonde full free?
I think it is. I think it's on one of the. I think it's on HBO right now, so it's not free. But if you have HBO, it's on there.
No extra purchase necessary.
If you're paying for the service, you got it. So
gotcha.
That's funny that we do say free streaming when it's not. But
that's they're winning. Am I right?
They are winning.
You know, Taika Waititi was in the Green Lantern movie.
I did not know that. No.
I saw a clip the other day. He was like Hal Jordan's dorky roommate.
It'd be interesting to see his take on Green Lantern.
I feel like he could do Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he needs someone a little weird to do Green Lantern.
Yeah, for sure.
What about a David O. Russell Green Lantern?
He is weird.
Yeah.
As a person, he's weird, but,
Maybe,
as a filmmaker, I mean, he would make a really intense Green Lantern movie, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's rumored that Tom Cruise might be eyeing the Green Lantern role for DC.
I did read that, yeah. I'm all in, man.
I honestly am all in. And I know you are too, honestly. But I think for me, it's like it's twofold because yours just from being a Cruise boy. I'm
a Cruise
man.
I'm a Cruise cuz.
Yeah. But for me, it's also like I think he would fit if he played the character, the one that Ryan Reynolds played, the pilot,
the like cocky flyboy version.
Like I think Tom Cruise,
was he a stunt pilot or something?
It was a test pilot. But I think Tom Cruise would be ideal for a role like that, man.
Oh yeah, no.
And then that character, Hal Jordan's his name. That character eventually goes on to become a like giant villain, not like size wise, but power wise, a villain in one arc. And I'm like, Tom Cruise would be amazing in that role.
Who defeats Hal Jordan?
I think it's all of them.
Oh.
Like they all kind of have to team up and take him down. He becomes like a villain named Parallax using his powers.
Interesting. I didn't realize
it's like I don't know. I want to say it's like one of those evil entities gets him, but it's a 90s thing. I don't know if DC would even go that route or if they have the right to go that route the way they're going. But
right.
Yeah, if they course corrected and rebooted or just refinagled things with Tom Cruise coming in, that might be pretty cool.
Sure.
So
but anyways, David O. Russell.
Sorry, I had a little sidebar there.
That's okay. What else has he directed?
Accidental Love, technically.
That was an Alan
uncredited.
Movie.
Yeah.
Excuse you.
He's done Silver Linings Playbook.
Yep.
I Heart Huckabees, American Hustle.
Yep.
And
Three Kings.
Yep. And
that's it.
Our film today, The Fighter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Max, what's the plot synopsis for The Fighter?
Based on the story of Mickey Ward, a fledgling boxer who tries to escape the shadow of his more famous but troubled older boxing brother and get his own shot at greatness.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, why'd we pick this one?
It's a good movie. I like a boxing movie. And the nice thing about a boxing movie is usually there's more than just the boxing. I mean, unless you ask Mark Wahlberg, who thinks it's all about the fight, it's just a really intense family drama, you know? A lot of great acting performances.
Yeah.
2 Academy Awards. 3 nominees. But no, it's a good movie, and I hadn't revisited it in a while.
Yeah.
That's how I made a few of my picks, like movies I like that I haven't watched. For this one, I probably either saw in theaters or right after it came out of theaters, and that was it. So I'm glad we watched it again. I liked it even better than I remembered.
It's good. It's very engaging.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to engage with.
Oh, yeah.
And it's there's just cool, very character-driven moments in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hardly a boxing movie, honestly. There's 10 total minutes of in-the-ring fighting. It doesn't have, like, a real classic training montage, I'd say.
No. The training's kind of minimal, honestly, which is good. Yeah. It's more like talking about the training that becomes important.
Yeah. The act of training is important, but it's not like you have to see it.
Yeah.
Like Dicky being there for the training, like those types of things. Yeah. But you could argue even that Christian Bale's Dicky Ecklund is truly the main character. He drives more of the action than anything. And
they both go through emotional changes, but he probably has the more substantial change throughout the film. So.
Yeah, so Dicky, and this is based on a true story. I don't know if it was mentioned in our synopsis. It is based on a true story. Dicky Ecklund was kind of a cocky fighter who took down Sugar Ray Leonard back in the day on like a big HBO fight. That's like his big claim to fame. But then he got addicted to crack cocaine and spiraled. So in this movie, Mickey Ward is he's called a stepping stone by a few people, where he's not like he's not exactly a title challenging boxer, but he still gets fights. He's not big fights, not glamorous. He's the guy you fight
to get to the title match, basically.
Pretty much, like a warm up.
Yeah.
But he's constantly under his older brother's shadow, and it's not even real. It's not his fault. It's really, honestly, his mother's fault.
Yeah.
Melissa, is it Leo or Leo? How does she pronounce it?
I'm not sure.
I'm not either, because I feel like it's Leo, but I've never actually heard anyone pronounce it that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Leo just for now, because it's easier. Because I'll forget.
Well, that'll be the pot. We'll be consistent. That'll be part of our syntax guide. Citing Kirk Douglas in his ancient state. I don't know what happened to him.
H.
I mean,
it's a fickle fig.
Ooh. The Fickle Fig would be a good wrestler's name.
Or restaurant.
I wouldn't eat it, the Fickle Fig. I don't want anything fickle about the food I'm getting.
All right.
Melissa Leo is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't like it. Melissa Leo is very good. She plays Dicky's mother. Well, both their mothers.
Yeah.
Dicky and Mickey's mom. And she's very much like the Dicky, I believe, was the oldest, and he's very much the favored son.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a documentary crew there filming a documentary about crack addiction, and they've somehow, between Dicky and their mother, Alice, have spun it in their own heads as a movie about his comeback when he's probably in his 40s. I don't know how old the character was at the time. Like, there's no way he's coming back.
Yeah.
And Mickey is an actual boxer at this point. So.
And as a narrative tool, too, the audience isn't aware that it's fully a crack cocaine documentary until about halfway they mention it. And you notice that Dicky doesn't notice it.
Yeah.
And then, or doesn't care.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really dawn on him until he's in prison later in the film. Yeah. So.
But it's actually super frustrating to watch. Like, so the big first boiling point of this is they're in Atlantic City for a fight. The person that Mickey's supposed to fight, he has the flu, so he can't fight. So they have another guy, who's 20 pounds bigger than Mickey.
Yeah.
It should not be. They should not be fighting.
Different size altogether.
But his mom and his brother convince him to do the fight still.
Yeah.
Because nobody gets paid if he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And of course
they don't get paid.
Yeah. And of course he gets his ass kicked.
Oh yeah.
And it's ugly to watch. And And then they're all celebrating afterward because they still get paid and everything, and he's just totally dour and down.
Yeah, kind of cuts them out for the first time there.
Yeah, so. But we don't have to go all the way into the plot yet, of course, but it's just a really interesting movie. Good family dynamics, great performances, top notch.
It does look at addiction in a pretty realistic way. I've had some experience in my life with people who are addicted to stuff, and especially with this drug, crack cocaine, it's very accurate. It was kind of freaky at times for me to watch it, but a lot of disappearing, a lot of just flightiness and flakiness and that kind of persona there. And Christian Bale really landed like the mannerisms too, the highs and the lows really well. It's
almost spooky. Like they show the actual Dicky Ecklund in the credits.
Yeah.
And the way he captured that is
like just how they both lean over to talk is like crazy. So
it's honestly unsettling.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of expect that with Christian Bale. You expect that level of acting. Yeah, exactly. The Patrick Stewart acting gif right there. But no, it's a lot of good performances, man. I mean, Wahlberg does his as well as he can.
Probably my favorite Wahlberg.
Yeah. It's just that ends up being a less dynamic character to
but he's
watch basically.
He's more of an everyman.
Yeah. I mean, he plays it how he should. Yeah. And when you see him later in the interview, I mean, he just seems kind of, straight and narrow compared to his brother, and I get that, and that's good casting there in that sense.
But even though he doesn't have the same flair of like Christian Bale's character and Melissa Leo's character, he does deliver on the moments he needs to deliver.
Yeah. He's conflicted when he needs to be. He goes through growth in his character, which is good.
And then Amy Adams is in it too. We haven't mentioned her yet. She's very good.
Yeah.
She's just a great actress.
Yeah,
she got nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Apparently she told David O. Russell that she kind of wanted to break type with this role. It was more of a step away from the gooder role she had played. She wanted to be sexy and seductive and kind of tough at the same time.
It worked.
And she basically said to him at one point, like, when the lights are on, the cameras are rolling, I'll literally do anything. Like, it's fine. And then out of that context, no, but in there. And you can see it's true because there's this makeout scene where like Mark Wahlberg's just like licking her lips seductively, and she's just like rubbing her lips on his face. I'm just like, yeah, that's some X-rated making out there. So she meant what she said, but there
you go.
But no, and her role is very good, very enjoyable.
She plays the MTV girl.
Yeah, she's that MTV girl.
She plays like a bartender who Mickey starts to date. I'm pretty sure in real life they got married and stuff afterward. So. I think they're still together. Yeah, I think they are. But and then outside of them, one of my favorite facts is Mickey Ward's trainer was a cop named Mickey O'Keefe, and after meeting the real Mickey O'Keefe, Mark Wahlberg said, "Well, you should play yourself in this," and he was like, "Oh, I can't. I'm just a cop. Like I can't do any of this." And Mark Wahlberg, and said like, "Oh, you're a police officer. That's what'll make you good at it. You have to think on your feet and stuff." And I don't necessarily agree with that. The logic there, like because you have to think on your feet, you'd be a good actor.
Yeah.
Because I feel like mostly it's like a performance. It's not really thinking on your feet.
There's parts
so much.
of it. I mean, sure improvisational acting requires that for sure.
Yeah, but it feels a lot more like following directions and stuff like that. But regardless, he did a really good job. I didn't know. I assumed this was an actor.
Yeah, I didn't even question.
It's not even like he was a background character.
No,
he had moments where he was like, "Fuck you, Alice," and stuff like that.
He definitely. I mean, he performed. So
yeah, he did a really good job.
He should look into that as a backup career.
Yeah. I think he's a retired cut. I think he's
get the gold watch, go into acting. You know.
Boom. I don't understand the gold watch part.
That's a retirement thing, usually from like unions and stuff like that. And then in John Q, they kept talking about gold watch. No, not John Q. Speed. I watched Speed recently. I watched them like the same time. So it's a plot point in Speed. John Q. They mention watches with retirement, but it's not a plot point. So
I thought maybe like when you became a member of the Screen Actors Guild, they sent you a gold watch.
No, it's when you're leaving like a fraternal organization.
But then you'd also be joining one, you know?
Yeah. You
trade in your retirement watch for a SAG membership.
You get a little swatch instead, a neat little swatch.
Yeah, because I think if there's one thing Hollywood can't afford, it's nice watches.
Swatches could be nice, man.
Can they?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about it another time. Do you want to hear the box office numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. $25 million budget, nice and tidy, a little small budge.
Mm-hmm.
It had a limited opening, but when it opened wide on December 17th of 2010, opened at $12.1 million. That was number 4 behind Tron Legacy, Yogi Bear, both opened that week, and I believe it was week 3 of The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
I never saw that one.
Me neither. I Narnia'd out on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, I remember not liking that one for sure.
Wait, was that the first one?
Yeah.
There was another one.
There was a Prince Caspian that was just me.
Maybe I saw Prince Caspian. Yeah. I can't remember.
That's the one with the mouse named Reepicheep, I believe.
Say it again?
Reepicheep.
Reepicheep.
I think it's something like that.
Okay. Well, you know they're rebooting the Narnia franchise.
Yeah, they should.
Well, I mean, there hasn't been one since 2010, so...
They still should.
I don't actually know if it's technically a reboot, because in the Narnia books, they traverse a very wide time
range. The kids change out eventually.
Yeah, so it could be just a continuation with the next...
And there's a book that's a prequel. So.
Yeah, The Magician's Nephew. Yeah. That was the first one I read.
Me too, because now a lot of times they have people read it first.
Yeah. So I was mad when they didn't adapt that one, because I thought it was cool.
That is a cool one. Yeah. Gives you all that witch backstory too.
Ooh. Let's do that one, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Who are you going to cast as the nephew?
The kid from A Monster Calls.
Ooh, okay. Liam Miller, I think is his name. He was also in Pan.
I tried to watch that movie last night, but it was like midnight, and
I
fell asleep immediately. And I was just like, let's just turn this off.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up there.
Oh, no.
Where's it streaming?
I didn't choose it. It's on HBO.
Who chose it?
Jody did. Oh. She put it on super late, and we fell asleep.
Regardless.
Yeah, I'll cut this part out.
It's fine. And then you could have like Max von Sydow play like the old man.
Yeah, the magician, I guess.
I guess he would be him.
Yeah.
Or we could go like trendy with a young
Tilda Swinton as your witch. Sure, would you trade up?
Whoa.
A little witch trade.
I don't know if there's a trade up from Tilda. She's top notch.
All right.
How about Helen Mirren? Dame Helen Mirren. She can play the witch.
That'd be different. That'd be cool. She's good.
I mean, I did change actresses. So
yeah.
It's going to be different.
All right. We're sidebarring real hard here, dude.
Well, total domestic run, $93.6 million.
That's good, man.
Made some money.
Off that budget there, triple.
Oh, baby, a triple.
Yeah.
7 Academy Award noms, too. Let's see if you can guess them.
At least one supporting actress.
2.
I said at least one.
Okay. But the other one was already mentioned on the episode. That's why. Because Melissa Leo won.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said earlier, Amy Adams got a nom for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2.
That's 2.
Oh.
You tell me the rest.
No more guesses?
I mean, I could guess supporting actor.
Yeah.
Definitely not lead actor, but supporting actor was good. Yep. Maybe best screenplay or best picture.
Yep. Only got two more.
I can't off the top of my head think what they would be.
Best director.
Okay, yeah.
The best editing is the one that I didn't think you'd get. But
I actually pondered that one because I did enjoy the editing.
Then I think you could have gotten there.
Maybe.
Just say next time try a little harder.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, you didn't give that your all, you know.
Well, I was corrected too fast, so my heart wasn't in it. I'll be completely honest. So I wasn't allowed to fail and learn, like Mickey does in this movie.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Wahlberg, as you kind of hinted at earlier, he loves boxing and he loves the fight, but he said that some movies don't do the boxing the right way.
Yeah.
And they really want to achieve like more exciting fights in here. Do you think they achieved it?
I mean, there's always like a baseline of excitement. They're not bad.
Yeah.
They don't feel like phoned in or generic.
I thought the sound was really good on them.
Oh yeah,
like
you
the
get
punches,
those like and that
visceral
noise people make on their like that.
Yeah.
You know,
it was cool.
You get those. It's tough because Creed came out a few years ago, and Creed does amazing fight sequences, like one shot. There's clips out there of them making them, and Michael B. Jordan's literally getting punched by boxers, like not even fake acting, cool. Like he's actually getting knocked out.
Yeah,
and so I mean, it's tough to compare in my head to anything else. But they did a fine job here. I mean, it's as good as like Cinderella Man or Rockies, any of the good boxing movies. Yeah. There's only so much you can do with it. They did use, they did film it in the style of like the 90s / early 2000s cameras and stuff.
Yeah, the HBO like live feed video.
Yeah. Which so like grainier.
Yeah, I did they do that for every fight or just that last one?
They did it for all the fights.
Okay.
The only thing I can imagine, like the reason why, is they might have interspersed actual footage in with it.
Yeah.
And then there's not like a jarring cut from this is clearly old footage to this is clearly being filmed now.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know if they did that. So
that's worth looking up.
Like I feel like we would know if they used actual footage because there would have been like good knockouts and stuff, like the actual knockouts.
Yeah.
And I don't remember them being
I think the Sugar Ray footage for sure was.
The Sugar Ray footage was definitely real. Yeah.
And then maybe the first Mickey fight might have been a mix, but I don't remember. But no, that's a good point. I mean, it does make it kind of feel more real.
It feels like you're watching that fight. Like when you go back and watch old sports clips, they're all grainy like that.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm trying to remember is the entirety of that final fight in the video format? Or is it just the fight parts?
Might be just the fight parts. When they're in the corner, it might be.
Might go back to film.
Yeah. I can't remember now though. I don't feel like it did.
Yeah, I feel like it might have stayed that because I feel like we said something about it like that felt weird.
And when you're in the arena, you're grainy.
Yeah, it's getting
grainy
and dirty. Yeah. You know, Wahlberg actually approached Scorsese to direct this first.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
He
did.
You got it.
How am I forgetting? In my head, I'm saying Raging Bull.
I was
thinking Bull Durham.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I was like, I know it's not Bull Durham. Oh.
Get your Bull sports movies. So since Scorsese had experience with that, Wahlberg approached him about it, but Scorsese had reservations because he had just done The Departed. So
didn't want to do another Boston movie.
He didn't want to stay in the area and revisit a subject he's touched before. So
maybe he just didn't like Mark Wahlberg that much. He's like,
maybe.
We're good, Mark.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Let's each do our own project. We'll come back together for Transformers 5: Rise of the Bumblebees.
That'd be amazing. Scorsese presents.
That would actually be nuts.
You know,
what if they did that?
Darren,
is there a check big enough for Martin Scorsese to do a Transformers movie? I feel like there's just no scenario where he does it.
Yeah, I can't. For Scorsese, I don't see it.
Yeah, he's too much of a craftsman.
I could see somebody more creative. Not more creative, but like somebody who is known for doing like wild takes on stuff coming in and like being like, I'm going to change everything and make like the worst movie on purpose.
Like a dark and gritty reboot of Transformers.
Yeah. Something really allegorical too.
Oh. Like, how about, who did 12 Years a Slave? What was that guy's name?
I don't know.
Steve McQueen. Have him do a Transformers movie.
That'd be interesting.
He's got a movie coming out this year that looks really good.
what I was going to say, though, was David O. Russell wasn't the second pick for this movie. Was? It was actually Darren Aronofsky.
Okay.
And
I'd give him a Transformers, too. What about the auteurs Transformers
that would
trilogy?
be interesting. Yeah. Like, it's like people, like, body horror all of a sudden or something. Be weird, man.
People transforming into cars.
So, Aronofsky...
It doesn't feel like his kind of movie.
He dropped out to work on a RoboCop remake that he never made, but I remember hearing about that.
Is that the same RoboCop remake that did eventually get made?
I would have to cross-check that. I don't think so, because I think Darren likes to be like hands-on on stuff. Because he was going to do Batman also, Batman Year
Darren
One.
Aronofsky was?
And he pulled out eventually on it. Didn't do Batman, obviously. But no, and... I remember everyone talking about like how he was going to do like a realistic, gritty one, but I feel like anyone who went in would want to do that at the time. You know,
every person who's been rumored to do a Batman, there's a quote of him saying like, "We're going to do a really gritty Batman."
It's like Batman already is gritty, okay. But
say what you want about Joel Schumacher. He did not go realistic or gritty.
No, he went for that '60s feel, that TV show feel.
Yeah.
So,
those nipples.
Those nipples. Speaking of nipples.
Yeah.
This movie, Wahlberg, is shirtless and boxing a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So you get a lot of Wahlberg nipple in here.
It's a real natural segue.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you definitely do.
What parts really stuck out to you in this movie? Like, what really kind of hit home?
Much to Marky Mark's chagrin, it's not the fights. It's those family moments, like when they're getting ready to go to Atlantic City and everybody's outside. They have a limo. They're like the Ward family, I guess, or the Ecklunds. I don't know.
Wards, yeah.
Yeah, they're a rather poor family. So seeing all of them kind of dressed up, like even Mark Wahlberg's character was wearing pretty dumpy dress-up clothes. Like it was like just a white button-up, a vest, and like a pair of Dockers. So it's just really fun. Except Melissa Leo gets very dolled up for everything. So the duality was a little funny, but then. They can't find Dicky, so they go up to the crack house that he's always at. He jumps out the back window. It's a very funny sequence.
Yeah.
And then the best is when he's getting ready to jump over the fence and stuff. He's like, "Don't let mom see me." But then she comes around and she's sad. And so Mickey's like, "What are you doing? Like, your mom's right here." And then the dad comes up and someone punches him in the face. I think Dicky punches him right in the face.
Yeah.
And then Mark Wahlberg has the line. Was like, "What are you doing running back here like a silverback gorilla," or something like that. But the whole sequence, like half the time, these sequences, especially with Dicky, they're just sad.
Yeah.
And borderline, like a little depressing. But here it was just like, it's like zany a little bit.
Yeah.
And like that's where David O. Russell really shines.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, just the mere concept of jumping out of a window into like a trash pile with a mattress in it is stupid. But it's not unrealistic is the thing. Like for the moment, it feels right.
And apparently Dicky Ecklund says the sequences were not correct because the jump was actually higher and there was nothing to break his fall. That's what he says.
The Dicky Ecklund quotes in this movie are amazing. Yeah. Apparently he got into like a screaming match with Bale about depicting him the wrong way and his sisters.
And he was upset about the way the sisters were depicted. And the sisters are depicted as very, I mean, they're like they're barely characters, but they're just like a
chorus
peanut gallery.
So.
And they keep calling Charlene an MTV girl and they're like making fun of her. And it ends up boiling over with another funny scene where all of the Ward and Ecklund women come to Charlene's house. And they have it out right there. When Dicky gets out of prison, that's a really powerful sequence, and he goes to the crack house.
Yeah, I like that moment a lot.
He gets up there and he walks away.
He brings over his happy freedom cake, free from prison cake, and just like gives it to them, and then walks off. It just has frosting all up his side, but like he doesn't address it. He just leaves it. And I thought it was just kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, and then he goes up to Charlene, and she doesn't want any part of him, and. I mean, it's really good. The character dynamics, they built really good relationships. All of the main characters have traits about them. So like the big challenge after Dicky gets out of prison is Mickey's been successful again. Mm-hmm. And part of the deal was no Alice, no Dicky. You know, he's training with O'Keefe still. They have another manager. I forget his name, Sal Bundy or something.
It was an Italian sounding name. Sal's right.
Sal Bundy might have been a character in, or like one of the other boxers.
Yeah. I know Al Bundy is from Married with Children.
Yeah.
So.
Sal was his boxer though.
Yeah.
And then when Dicky gets out, like Alice comes to the gym and stuff. Dicky and Alice kind of assume that it's going to be business as usual, but Mickey's really mad. He actually like punches him right in the kidney.
Yeah.
It was like a pretty brutal punch.
Yeah.
Everybody's mad at this point. Mickey's torn out because like he just wants to keep doing his thing. He needs his brother because brother gave him good tips on like the fight previous, but Charlene and his new manager, they don't want Dicky to be there at all. And it's like, it's very complex and it boils over. Mickey has a good speech that he gives. You know, he's like, this isn't about you or you or you or you. This is my chance. Like stuff like that. Like the first time he actually says those kinds of things. Yeah. And it's a really nice moment. That's what I liked about Mark Wahlberg's character here.
Yeah, no, and he definitely did that well.
He kind of has this like breathy whine to his voice sometimes, and it worked with Mickey's
It's like
character.
exasperated almost. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely let his family like run his life, all of his life basically. Yeah. And it's interesting to see because you think Wahlberg, you think tough guy. Yeah. Most movies, he's like the guy in charge always.
Yeah, like The Departed.
Yeah, and so to see him like kind of meek while still being a tough guy is it's interesting. It is kind of a different take for him. So.
But he's a very he's like a softer person.
Yeah. In general, so. I mean, his brother and his mother like rule his world. So him meeting Charlene and learning that he can be his own person is very important for the character. So it was cool to see. And then I liked their relationship with Charlene. They're meeting the family. Like you said, that scene was the scene where they try to attack her is very funny. But even when they're first meeting her, like it's comical. Yeah, like into the lion's den. Everyone's like watching. And they do say MTV Girl like 18 times that scene. And it's amazing. So, and there's little details with that when they all pile in the car. It's like a shitty old car, even for the 90s. Yeah. And it's dragging on the ground because there's so many people. It's hitting every bump, But they do it so naturally. Like getting everyone in the car is normal for them. So. Oh, and one of the sisters, there's like 7 sisters. One of them is Conan O'Brien's. Beaver, I believe, is Beaver O'Brien. Yeah. Yeah. Is she Conan's sister? Sister. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. When you go back and look, she looks just like him. So they needed that red hair for these Irish Boston families. Irish Lowell's pride. So Lowell is like a suburb of Boston. It's like very run down, poor. They did a good job of showing that. I mean, Boston, the greater Boston area, the greater Massachusetts area. I grew up there. It has kind of a distinctive feel. It feels distinctive to me. I don't know how unique it really is, but it really did feel like a Boston town. Like right at the start of the movie, they're walking through the streets with the documentary crew and they just pass by these shops and there's just kind of random stuff happening. One guy's just walking out of a store doing a scratcher. Like that kind of stuff just kind of like sets the tone for the city. I mean, I've only had limited time up in Massachusetts myself, but it did feel it felt like it at the moment. I do like that intro a lot. I want to bring attention to that, so I'm glad you brought it up. They're just doing their street cleaning, whatever they're doing. It's like raking the tarmac. They're a paving crew. They're a paving crew. And it turns from that into the like Lowell's pride walking on the street scene. And I just thought that was really creative how it begins as like work, come on, like stop it. And you know, there's the fake boxing and then. Well, it also gives you a really good show immediately of the two attitudes between Mickey Ward and Dicky Ecklund. Mickey's actually working. Dicky's like shadow boxing around him, like spinning around. He's like he's a fire where he can't be contained. He's all over the place. Mr. Popular. He's leading the charge. So and it begins right after. I mean, they have that moment of them talking, and then it goes into this sequence, and the film eventually comes to an end where he says, "You're actually Lowell's pride. I'm nobody. Like who cares? Like you're the guy who's the pride." So, so I like that how it kind of does set it up in this whole big arc. I think where David O. Russell really shines. There's just those little moments of humor that he brings, like while not sacrificing the tone of the movie. Like with Silver Linings Playbook, it is a pretty funny movie, but it's also a pretty serious look at like mental illness and stuff. And here they don't really shy away from the toll that addiction can take on your family, but there's moments within it that are still very funny. Charlene and Mickey's first date, they go to another part of town and they see the French movie. And she comes up, she's like, who recommended it for you? Someone on the paving crew recommended that? And he's like, yeah, someone recommended it. And she's like, there wasn't even any sex or anything in it, no kissing or nothing. And that's just a really funny sequence. It doesn't like poke fun at the characters, but it just
that's not who they are, you know?
Yeah.
And when they're walking in, there's a guy behind them who's like, the cinematography's top notch. Yeah. I got really scared from, I was like, am I like that guy? But then he wouldn't shut up. And I was like, okay, I usually know when to shut up. Yeah. So I'm
also,
not
like,
that guy.
He was talking to strangers. And
and he had a sweater tied around his neck.
Yeah. You might tie sweaters in your neck, but you're not going to talk to a stranger.
No, man. I'm not a sweater guy.
Just saying, you might. I didn't want to rule
stuff around my neck.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Wait, that was really dark.
Yeah. That was.
Ooh.
Speaking of,
here we go.
When Dicky finally sees his documentary in prison, it's kind of his dark moment of the soul.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's realized what a documentary about crack addiction actually is. He realizes his kid's watching it. Yeah. He has the whole prison lined up, like in a.
It's movie night.
It's movie night, basically, yeah. And so instead of watching a movie, they're watching this. And he almost gets into a fight about it. Like, it gets pretty rough, but you get to feel kind of that embarrassment he feels at the same time.
For sure, yeah.
And you know everyone's watching.
It's like a palpable cringe.
Yeah, yeah.
And
they show the whole family. They show Mickey calling his ex-wife or child's mother and saying, please turn it off. Don't let her see it.
Don't let her see it.
And she's like, I want him to see it.
I want to see who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Which isn't fair at all.
No, it's not.
That's not who Mickey is.
I do wonder how realistic those parts are with the...
I wondered throughout.
Because she's definitely an antagonist the whole time, a minor one, but like that's all she is. There's no redemption there. But you do know, if you do some research,
she's barely a factor in the movie.
Later, his child does live with him. I know, so obviously there's some redemption there. But
and then after the events of the movie, what I thought was interesting too, the movie ends. He gets the whatever weight he was welterweight title, but then he had 3 pretty famous fights with another major boxer, Arturo Gatti, I believe was his name, and they don't even touch on any of that here, which was. Interesting, because that would be the real high of Mickey's character. Well, not Mickey's character. Mickey Ward, the athlete. His peak was those fights against Gatti and defending his title and stuff. And they don't even go into that here, so that's kind of interesting.
It is. I guess
it's really just that redemption, that rise, and then it stops. And apparently, Mark Wahlberg wants to make a sequel, but I don't think there's much interesting anymore.
Yeah. I guess, because right now, the way this story is told, the interesting moments, like the story is him stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
Like getting into the game is his story. And then from there, he's, a good success.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, doing those fights, if there's not enough struggle for him to get there, would it be interesting?
Yeah. And while it is a boxing movie, it's more a family drama.
Yeah.
So the sequel that's about his champion boxing career wouldn't be as interesting,
I can't see it.
But every good boxing movie, or really sports movie, the sport is the secondary part of it.
You want it to be, yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, for
the good ones. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, Field of Dreams, only technically a baseball movie, really. I mean, it really is a family drama too. The Mighty Ducks, classic coming of age. But Rocky, I mean. More dramas, personal dramas.
Just thinking of sports movies all the time. I mean, the sports is, it's the mechanism to tell the story, but you do want the drama.
Yeah.
I mean, even like Rudy, the underdog, classic underdog. Nobody watches Rudy for the football.
It's not Rudy the football player. It's Rudy the person.
Yeah.
The underdog. Perseverance. I've never seen the whole thing. I've only seen some of it on 2 separate occasions at 2 different dentists. Rudy was on.
That's weird, man. Yeah. Surprised you got through American high school without being forced to watch Rudy. Forced. It's not a bad watch, but
maybe. I mean, when did Rudy come out? In the 70s,
no,
80s for sure,
90s
for sure. I didn't think it was the
30-year gap where it could have come out.
I didn't think it was the 70s. I thought it came out before I was born, though.
1993.
I was wrong. I was 2.
Yeah,
but when I was in high school, I mean, Rudy wasn't in the.
It's probably replaced with Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. That's a big one.
Maybe some
Remember
October
the Titans.
Sky also.
No, I never
November
seen
Sky, whichever one it is.
Never seen November, October. I have seen June.
Oh, it's
Sky.
Rocket Boys. Rocket Boys is what I'm thinking of. Maybe that's something different.
I don't know what that is either.
It's October Sky. Go on.
Remember the Titans is barely about the football too.
Yeah.
It's about racism.
Yeah.
Boom.
There's also We Are Marshall about kids dying.
That's about airline safety.
Yeah. Huh. Was it bus safety or airline?
I thought it was
I've never
airline.
seen it.
I've never seen it either. But if my memory of the real event is true, I'm pretty sure there was a plane crash in the mountains of West Virginia.
The Replacements, is that one?
That one is about labor. Yeah,
it's about labor.
Yeah, about labor rights, unionizing.
Oh, okay. Labor. That's funny.
Miracle. That's not about. That's about the Cold War.
It's about
there isn't
night's rest.
Here's a hot take from the Critical Breakdown from Max and me. There isn't a single good movie about sports. Boom.
I can't argue with him. Wait. No, I mean, yeah. What I get what you're saying. Yeah. I like how you're saying it. Say it again.
How we're saying it.
Yeah, say how we're saying it. Say it one more time.
There isn't a single good movie about sports.
Are you serious?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I got a nice clear cut of that so I can open the show with it.
Cool.
It's going to be a 1-second drop.
This week on the Critical Breakdown. But no, The Fighter's really good. I like it. It's not streaming anywhere, but it should be. Well, that doesn't make any sense, but it's worth watching.
You can rent it. We rented it,
Yeah,
right?
you could rent it. Rent it.
Actually, I don't know if we rented it. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Definitely worth it.
This was a gap in my Blu-ray collection. This is definitely the kind of movie I would own.
Yeah, you should just go ahead and buy it.
I'm going to.
And we'll have a couple gaps coming up soon, but we'll get to that in a second. Well, we might not, but we should. We should, technically. Let me explain. Real quick. David O. Russell.
Yep.
Rank his movies real quick. For the ones you've seen.
The ones I've seen would be The Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook, and Accidental Love.
And American Hustle.
Okay, so my rankings would probably be Silver Linings Playbook, then The Fighter, then American Hustle, then a massive gap, then Accidental Love.
That's exactly the same here.
Yeah. I haven't seen I Heart Huckabees.
Me either.
I haven't seen Three Kings.
Me either. That's a gap in my knowledge because people love that movie.
People love that movie. Yeah. Another time that he worked with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I don't know how I
guess he does like him.
Yeah, they must like each other. It's Scorsese.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
For the longest time, I was like, I'm not a big David O. Russell fan because I really did not like American Hustle that much. But then I was like, but I do like Silver Linings Playbook. And now watching this again, I'm like, but I like The Fighter too.
Yeah.
So I think it's just I don't like American Hustle.
That's fair. I really enjoyed American Hustle.
He also did, what was the one with Jennifer Lawrence about the mops?
Oh, yeah, that one. It's a woman's name, and I'm forgetting it.
Selena?
Not Selena. You're on the right path there. Come on. You got it.
Sarah?
Maybe it's Serena?
Joy.
God, we're way off.
I was on the right path, though.
It's a woman's name, yeah.
Nailed it.
Joy, I enjoyed Joy. It was just kind of there. At the end of the day, like it's not. Like
it didn't look interesting to me, but I don't like biopics. So.
It's one of those things where it is another vehicle to show that Jennifer Lawrence is a good actress because a lot of people apparently don't like her. As many that like her dislike her.
She had a big rise and then she kind of crashed there. I don't know.
I think she just had a series of like awkward interviews and weird statements. Not anything to ruin her career, but she's just been like, okay. But yeah, so Joy, I enjoyed the performances. It's funny to say that. But the story itself is just kind of, it's based off real events.
Yeah.
It's well done, but it's not going to like change anything.
And it didn't seem like all that interesting of a story to me. Maybe it's interesting, but just like not the kind of story I want to watch a movie.
I mean, it's pretty interesting. It's just,
I don't know.
It's like if you have 3 other movies you're excited about, watch those. And then if you have time to watch a 4th one and that's on your stack, just go and put it in. No, I mean, it's good, but it's not like for you personally, unless you're just like you have nothing else to watch and it's right there. I don't think you'd go out of your way to see it, and I think you'd be fine with it.
It would have to be in my way to watch, is what you're saying.
I mean, they're just if it's the best option, I think you would go with it. If it's this or Accidental Love, I think you're going with Joy.
Yeah.
Now, American Hustle, I feel like everyone we know doesn't like it, because you're not the only person I know who feels that way, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was just kind of let down by it. I thought
if anything, appreciate it for being the film that made me stop hating Jeremy Renner.
That's the one?
Yeah, because I liked him in it.
I thought it was The Bourne Legacy. I'm just kidding.
Treadstone.
I'm not even sure if that's fake or not. That's the beauty of the Bourne series.
Well, anyway, I was saying you might have a couple gaps.
Blindside? It's not about football. It's about love.
It's about white forgiveness.
Oh,
I've never seen The Blind Side, so I don't know if that's true.
It kind of is. Anyways.
I was saying you're going to have some gaps in your Blu-ray collection, excuse me. Some gaps in your Blu-ray collection.
Because you're going to rob me?
No, because we are still picking some of the movies we're watching.
Oh, we aren't.
Well, we aren't. You're right.
Well, I mean, we sort of are. We're voting.
You know who's picking them?
You.
The Break Clowns.
Them. The Break Clowns. That's the new fan group name.
Yeah.
Fans, if you don't like being a member of the Break Clowns, if you don't like being a Break Clown, let us know. But it's too bad because it's official.
Yeah.
I guess it's official.
The Critical Break Clowns.
Yeah, man.
So
I just typed it up one
day. Break Clowns. It kind of flows. Yeah, I like it.
It rhymes.
Yeah, you got to just make the k sound combined and you're good. Break Clowns.
Yeah. Break Clowns. Break Clowns. Break Clowns.
All right, so
y'all voted though.
We had a poll. We had what were our 4 options? Just run through those real quick. We want to talk about the options themselves.
An American Werewolf in London, Doctor Strange MD, Galaxy Quest, Zombieland.
Okay, so 4 good choices, like we said before in many episodes. Yep. And we started our poll out. We started out our poll by tossing up a little Twitter poll.
Yeah, and then we added a little straw poll.
For the non-tweeters, but also Twitter users can use it.
The Twitter users' voices have been heard. More ways. It's more powerful if you're on Twitter because you get to vote in both.
One
vote here, one vote there.
It was close, man. It started off pretty close. But Galaxy Quest pulled out a full lead on Twitter alone. But on straw poll, American Werewolf just jumped in, man.
So Twitter loves Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Non-Twitter users like American Werewolf in London. I wonder if there's anything to that. It's an older movie. Maybe an older crowd doesn't use Twitter as much.
Maybe.
I think if we had access to the demos here, I think we'd see a younger crowd more interested in Galaxy Quest than American Werewolf in London.
I could see that. There's also...
This is solely based on the technology.
Yeah. When I think of these 2 films, I think Galaxy Quest has a more general appeal to it. I think American Werewolf is more filmy kind of guys would be into it. But at the same time, I love both. So I was feeling pretty good going into this.
You're both a normal guy and a film guy.
But no, I felt pretty excited about
Doctor Strange had an offer on Twitter. I was surprised.
To quote Albert Dubriel, our former guest, no Doctor Strange love. He said it 6 times to me at least. Yeah. Had to give him a shout out for making a funny joke.
Yeah, I guess you had to.
But also told him to cool it because we'll be watching that movie eventually, Doctor Strangelove. So.
Oh yeah.
Ixnay on save your jokes.
Save
Albert.
your J's. We ended up with a tie.
We had a tie.
Galaxy Quest and American Werewolf in London.
Mm-hmm.
They both.
When you combined the straw poll and the Twitter, they were literally tied.
Yep. So we threw up an extra poll on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
The reason there wasn't a Facebook poll before is because Facebook only lets you have 2 options, which is very stupid.
Very stupid, but perfect for a runoff poll.
Yeah, perfect for a runoff poll. And the champion there was Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest. I keep wanting to say To Infinity and Beyond because it's Tim Allen.
We can.
But that's Toy Story.
Yeah.
And we got to save that. Just
maybe.
In case. Maybe. Just in case.
But yeah, so we're going to be watching Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, so
you're welcome.
I told people to throw in their comments, kind of give some justifications.
What do we got?
If they can. First off, we have former guest Paul for All Seasons saying, "Give me some of that American Werewolf."
Sorry.
And he tried his best. He pushed out a couple retweets and shared it on Facebook. But unfortunately for Paul, didn't happen. Justin Bishop of the Psychotronic Film Society tweeted, "I know Galaxy Quest has a good chance of winning, and I'm okay with that, but I've got to vote for American Werewolf in London. It's possibly the best horror comedy of all time."
Sorry to you, too.
Yeah, but he was cool with it.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine on Twitter, Moshe Siegel, tweeted, "I can justify Galaxy Quest with one word. Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman." He wrote it all as one word. So...
because it's 4.
Yeah. It's 4 words that make a name, technically. Yeah. So, but no, when you smash it together, it's a word. So
yeah.
So we'll be watching...
I'd watch that sex scene.
Galaxy Quest.
They ever had sex on screen?
Those 2? Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not talking this fake Hollywood stuff. I'm talking real.
Just real.
Yeah.
Real sex. HBO. You excited?
Yeah.
I feel we both said
that if we had to pick one, it would be Galaxy Quest.
And then I was very torn. I was like, but American Werewolf's amazing, so I'm cool with that too.
Yeah. Did you vote? Did you vote?
Yeah, I did.
I did too. I voted for Galaxy Quest. I actually voted for Doctor Strange on the straw poll just to get it a vote.
Just to squeeze.
I didn't want it to be. I didn't want an offer.
Mm-hmm. It's like you gotta let it happen sometimes. Well, on Straw Poll, I voted American Werewolf, and on Twitter, I voted Galaxy Quest. So I contributed to this tie.
Everybody who voted did.
But on Facebook, I'll be honest, I voted American Werewolf. I was feeling it. I was feeling it when I put up the poll.
Interesting.
So. Yeah. But
this
is good. I'm glad we're doing this. Yeah. I'm glad the break clowns get to decide.
Yeah. Thanks for clowning around, gang. So next week, tune in for Galaxy Quest.
By Grabthar's Hammer?
Yeah. Max, where can good people find us?
You can find us practicing for our next big match. Or you can find us at thecriticalbreakdown.com.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter at BreakdownCast. We're on Instagram at The Critical Breakdown. On Facebook at The Critical Breakdown. It's our name. Just look it up. You can find it.
Just look it up.
Look it up. You can find me hitting on Amy Adams at some bar. Or you can find me on Twitter at Max Rivera Film.
You can find me pitching pyramid schemes to the neighboring people at my crack house. Or you can find me at Breakdown_Scott on Instagram and Twitter.
Nice.
Yeah. Wally's a podcast dog.
Jason Brown does our music.
And Josh Burr does our art.
And we're podcast boys.